Let's be honest. You've heard it all before. Best practices, trendy solutions, proven strategies that aren't even strategies. More about it is coming on this channel. Watch this space. It's the siren song of the business world. But what if I told you that clinging to these prepackaged solutions is the biggest threat to your business? You are falling prey to the illusion of knowing that we talked about ad nauseum. As you know, I'm not here to tell you what to do. There's a plenty of people for that. I'm here to tear apart the comfortable lies you are telling yourself. So, let's go.
Unbound Mind.
We've spent the last few videos dismantling the cognitive traps that plague most businesses, from overconfidence bias to seductive cognitive ease and suffocating herd mentality. All to uncover that you are running on autopilot, reacting to symptoms instead of addressing root causes. Remember Blockbuster? They knew video rentals were their business. They knew people liked going to the store, so what did they do when Netflix started sending DVDs in the mail? They launched Blockbuster Online. Brilliant, right? Except they failed to see the real problem. People didn't want to go anywhere. Or countless startups chasing the latest funding craze. They know it's the future. But do they actually understand the underlying problem they're solving? Or are they just desperately trying to rid a wave of hype? So how do you escape the illusion of knowing? Because realizing you are trapped isn't enough, although it's still a powerful first step. You need a way out. Earlier we talked about beginner's mind, rational emotive behavior therapy, and root cause analysis. It's time to introduce yet another helpful tool to your portfolio: Convergent versus Divergent Thinking.
The fountain flow.
Convergent thinking is like the base of a fountain. All the water collects in one place, similar to us gathering clarity and focus. Divergent thinking is like the spray shooting upward. It starts from one central point, one problem, and bursts out in all directions. Each arc is like a new idea, angle, or perspective. It's the process of exploring and deconstructing the problem. What are all possible ways to frame the situation? What assumptions am I making? What are the hidden constraints? Think of it like this. You are not looking for the answer, you are looking for the right question. But the spray doesn't bust. The water returns, falling back into the fountain's basin. Ideas fall back down, gather, settle. That's convergence again. You need to evaluate the options, make tough choices, and align your actions with your strategy, assuming you have one. That's how real thinking works. From chaos to focus and clarity, it's the process, not a straight one, but a cycle. Outward to explore, inward to decide, and forward to act.
Unbound Mind.
Let's say your customer churn is rising. You've tried discounts, loyalty programs, targeted ads. Nothing sticks. Why? Because you're applying convergent thinking, trying to optimize a flawed system before you even tried to understand the system itself. Divergent thinking is about widening that funnel. It's about asking, what are all the possible reasons for the churn? Could it be a fundamental mismatch between our product, our brand, and our target market? Could it be a hidden flaw in our onboarding process? Could it be that our competitors are offering something we aren't even considering? Are we even targeting the right customers? Don't just brainstorm, deconstruct. Now, let's say you've explored all these possibilities. You've identified 3 potential root causes: a confusing user interface, a lack of personalized support, and a growing perception that your product is overpriced. That's where convergent thinking kicks in. You need to evaluate those options. You need to focus. Which one is the most likely culprit? Which one is the most impactful? Which one is the most feasible to address? This isn't about choosing the best idea, it's about making a strategic choice, prioritizing your actions and focusing your resources.
Unbound mind.
This constant back and forth is a relentless pursuit of clarity and is the antidote to the illusion of knowing. If this hits home and you're tired of throwing smart solutions and stupid problems, check the Illusion of Knowing playlist for more unorthodox insights. And if you're ready to level up it even further, grab your strategy toolkit. That's waiting.
The mystery of the vanishing sales.
Meet Innovate, a leader in smart home gadgets. Their flagship product was a market leader. Then suddenly, sales started dipping. Not a crash, but a slow, steady bleed. The initial reactions were scattered. Marketing blames sales, sales blame R&D, R&D blames marketing. Well, you know how it goes. Everyone had an opinion, superficial, defensive, and profoundly useless. The appointed project manager had to clean up the mess. First move, you guessed it, Convergent Thinking. They pulled the data, everything they could get their hands on. Sales by region, segment, channel, time, support tickets, site traffic, churn, campaign results, competitor moves, nothing off the table. Then came the bloodhound phase. They didn't just glance at numbers, they hunted. The drop wasn't global, it was local, northeast, sharpest decline. And it wasn't old customers, it was fresh ones, those acquired in the last 6 months. Now they had something real. Why are new customers in the Northeast returning devices? No finger pointing, no gut feelings, no authority bark, just a clean, focused problem worth solving. To get to the why, they had to shift gears. Enter divergent thinking. Set the rules. No idea is silly, no opinion is bad, build on others' thoughts, aim for quantity, drop judgment. Then they let loose. 30 plus possibilities flew in. Messy, but useful. Now, time to converge again. Testing, validating, slashing dead ends. And there it was. The root cause. A technical glitch with one internet provider in that one region. Existing users hacked their way around it. New users just returned the product. Problem solved. Not by wasting millions, not by guessing, not by blaming a cruel twist of fate, by thinking the right way in the right order.
Unbound mind.
The fragile art of divergence.
Divergence is fragile. It only blossoms in the soil free from the arrogance of certainty, the loudest voice in the room, fear of looking stupid, the slow suffocation of groupthink, and authority pressure. It needs space, it needs air, humility. But let's be honest, most brainstorming sessions end up looking less like this and more like,
"That's not how we do things here. This is a stupid idea. We don't have time for this. Move on. I've already decided."
Real creativity demands freedom, trust, and enough safety to be wrong without punishment. Without it, it's not divergence, it's not creativity, it's not brainstorming. The same old meeting, the same loud opinion, the same silence from the people who actually think but can't be bothered to speak up. How do I know? I used to be one of them. Your voice matters as long as it's politically correct. It's just performance, hypocrisy presented as problem solving. Besides, often a complete waste of time just waiting for the big guys to have enough listening to their own voices.
Deeper into divergence.
And while brainstorming can be a useful tool for divergent thinking, it's not the only tool. Let's explore some other ways to expand your thinking. I'm not going to delve into 5 whys and assumption busting techniques. You can learn about them in the playlist. Today, I will briefly introduce you to the SCAMPER, worst possible idea, and 6 thinking hats. The first one is SCAMPER. SCAMPER is a checklist that prompts you to think about your product or service in new ways. Can you substitute a key ingredient? Can you combine it with something else? Can you adapt it to a new market? It's a great way to spark creative ideas. And SCAMPER isn't just a creativity tool. It's a powerful technique for strategic innovation. In fact, it's closely aligned with the principles of blue ocean strategy, creating new market spaces by offering unprecedented value. Then comes the worst possible idea. It's about generating the worst possible solutions. Yeah, it does exactly what it says on the tin. It's a great way to break free from conventional thinking. Assuming your team is struggling with low morale and disengagement due to a high-pressure project deadline. What are the absolute worst possible ways to address this issue? Micromanage every task, ignore the team complaints, cancel all breaks to push harder. Such absurd ideas free participants from the fear of being wrong. They highlight flawed approaches and generate insights about what not to do. By the way, the worst possible scenario is one of the often used exercises in coaching and therapy too. And the final one is 6 thinking hats. This is a structured approach to problem solving. Each hat represents a different perspective. By consciously switching hats, participants can explore the problem from all angles, such as objective data and feelings, challenges and risks, opportunities and innovations, and finishing the session with summarizing the next step and defining the action plan. Now, tools aside, let's zoom out. Divergent thinking thrives when you're willing to challenge not just ideas, but frames. It's about expanding your perspective and breaking free from mental traps. One of the biggest is the problem blind spot. This is when we disregard certain aspects of a problem after focusing on it for too long. That's why it's so crucial to step back, challenge your assumptions, and explore alternative viewpoints. Divergent thinking also helps us reach into the adjacent possible, the range of ideas that are just beyond our current understanding. And paradoxically, constraints can actually fuel divergent thinking, forcing us to be more creative. Think of it like a puzzle. The more constraints you have, the more ingenious your solution needs to be. Look, this isn't a magic bullet. No tool is, but it will give you a fighting chance to see beyond the superficial, to challenge the status quo, and to solve the real problems that actually matter. And frankly, in a world drowning in noise and misinformation, that's a pretty valuable skill, don't you think?
Easter egg. What if I told you?
In the early 2000s, neuroscientists began scanning the brains of people trying to solve creative problems. They expected to find a single creative center lighting up. Instead, they saw something surprising. 2 completely different networks, one for convergent thinking, the executive control network, another for divergent thinking, used for daydreaming and imagination. They were taking turns like dancers swapping the stage. The shift between these networks is part of why creative flow feels so intense. But this isn't all. Around the same time, psychologists ran a series of brainstorming experiments. They found that groups, despite the hype, often performed worse than individuals working alone. Too many voices, too much waiting, not enough space to drift and return. The breakthrough? Let people wander in solitude first, then bring them together. Because great ideas aren't born in noise, they spark in quiet minds and ignite collaboration. Sometimes the brain needs silence before the storm.